Hello there! What is going on, everyone? Today we've got a preview of the Crashed Escape Pod expansion for Star Wars Legion with R2 and 3PO in it. Now, this is a cool preview because it's basically three things. You've got a terrain piece, you've got 2 units. More than that, you've also got a scenario, and then a unit that you can use with the Rebels, and also a unit that you can use with the Republic. So you've got a bunch of different kind of versions of this. So this is pretty cool. Also, do want to remind you guys, there is still time left to enter to win the $25 Amazon gift card giveaway. That is actually coming tomorrow. I'll be announcing the winners for that. So there's still have time. You just have to be a subscriber and leave a comment on this or one of my videos. All right, so we're going to look at a couple of things, including the command cards. But first, let's just kind of go over this new type of unit. So the main unit here is R2-D2. He is an operative. You can run him by himself. So you can do a whole lot with this expansion. There's actually quite a lot of value here. He's only 35 points, so super cheap for an operative. I mean, that's a whole activation, right? So, like, I could see totally just running this guy just for his activation. You know, it's that's pretty cool. He can repair 2. He's got a capacity of 2 too, so he can keep your tanks running. He can keep your ATRTs running, which is very, very cool. I like that. He's got his electroshock that can be used in melee or at range 1. And it's a suppressive attack, so it is pretty kind of cool. You can actually suppress somebody in melee or throw 2 suppression out in range if you manage to get a damage out there. He comes with the comms upgrade, but nothing else. And he has secret mission. Once per game, if you are within an enemy deployment zone, place a victory token on you. At the end of the game, if you have a victory token, gain that token. Obviously, I think this is something you probably want to do at the very, very last turn if you can manage it. It's like keep him just outside that deployment zone, and then at the very, very end, go in there, trigger the secret mission, claim victory. Awesome kind of secret little way to kind of give the the rebels some type of bounty type of thing, since it seems like the bad guys are always going to get bounty hunter and the good guys are always going to have maybe something like this. You've also got grounded. You cannot climb or clamber, which is pretty cool. Basically you're stuck rolling along, which is going to mean that, granted, most battlefields are working within this type of constraints, but there are probably some terrain tables people have put out that do have a lot of difficult terrain. So you're gonna have some difficult movement, but you're speed 1 anyway, so you were gonna go slow over difficult terrain anyway. But yeah, you're not gonna be able to climb or clamber, and which also means no going up ladders. So that's fun. You're also inconspicuous. This is a really good one. While an enemy unit performs an attack, if you have at least 1 suppression token, it must attack another unit, if able. Now, of course, if you're the only one there, then you're not really being that inconspicuous. During your rally step, you may choose not to remove your suppression tokens, which is pretty cool. So I'm digging that. Well, again, you're going to have somebody else near you. You're going to kind of need an escort if you're going to try to make it in to your opponent's deployment zone, which, after playing Breakthrough multiple times, is not always the easiest thing, especially for a speed 1 unit. So this is not going to be that easy, and it's not like you can just drop R2 off. Now, here is an example. Maybe you want to put R2... Maybe you want to put R2 on a land speeder, something like that, to get him across the battlefield a little bit easier. That's not a terrible idea. So he is a droid trooper, which means he is going to follow all the rules for droids, which means if he is suppressed, he's also not going to lose actions, which is kind of cool, but he could be ionized. So there's a lot of little things like that to consider. You got 4 health, and you got courage value of 2, which is going to work pretty well for a droid, considering that even with 3 suppression, really not much of a worry about it. Now, once you get to that 4th suppression, that's when you might have to think about, oof, you're going to have to worry about this. But he's got both offensive and defensive surge with that white defense die, which is pretty cool. He's also going to come with C-3PO. We can say this. Our tongue can work today, I promise. If we work hard enough, we can make it happen. He's got clumsy kick, and I've got clumsy speak. So, but basically he is, he's a counterpart. And a counterpart is effectively an upgrade. I've talked about this in other videos, but basically this whole card is kind of like just a separate upgrade, and he can only go onto R2-D2. Think of him as an upgrade card that a big upgrade card that doesn't require an upgrade slot. Like, you don't have to have a slot over on the left-hand side to be able to take this. You can just take it. He costs 15 points. He counts as an extra mini. He has to die before the master mini. So 3PO would have to potentially die before R2-D2. But yeah, counterparts. It's treated kind of as its own separate mini. He's going to attack. He can, he's going to use his own attack. He's not going to use they're going to have their own weapons. Future counterparts, in theory, could have their own guns aside. Like one example I've always done is Baze, Malbus, and Chirrut Imwe. They seem like they would be a good like master and counterpart type combo, but yet they would each have distinct different weapons. Like Baze would have that heavy blaster, and then Chirrut Imwe would have that staff or the light bow because he can also shoot with it. But they each have different weapons with different stats, and they're going to roll those independently. There's a whole bunch of rules for counterparts, but basically that's I think the gist of it. He has some separate actions that he's got. Also, he can run calculate odds while a friendly trooper at range 1 and in line of sight. It gains an aim, dodge, and a suppression token. Now it doesn't say another friendly trooper, so ideally you will want C-3PO to be able to do this to yourself. So R2 and 3PO are really the R2 unit with the 3PO counterpart gets... It's funny that 3PO is actually R2's counterpart when he always says, "And this is my counterpart, R2D." It's like he's really the boss of you. You're not really the boss of him. But yes, you want to give yourself the suppression token to trigger inconspicuous. But he can also say distract over here, right? Choose an enemy trooper at range 1 and the 2 in a line of sight until the end of the round. You lose inconspicuous, and that unit must perform attacks against you. So if you are trying to prevent Luke from dying, you can be like, all right, guys, shoot me instead. Hey, at least I have defensive surge, right? So that's nice. And of course, he's a counterpart to R2-D2. Now, we had seen this already, but it's still pretty nice. And of course, he's going to have 2 health. That's going to bring this whole unit up to a maximum of 6 health. Of course, once 3PO dies, you're going to lose all of these bonus keywords that are going to show up on there. So we do get a look at all 3 of R2-D2's command cards because, yes, as a operative, R2-D2 does come with command cards. 3PO does not because he is not the unit. The unit is R2-D2. Although 3PO is happily featured here, and it makes me wonder how much the 3PO had a good time on that little joyride in this picture. Very funny, actually. So R2-D2 increases his maximum speed by 1 and gains a dodge token, a suppression token, disengage, and jump 1. So while he cannot climb or clamber, he can now jump over stuff. So this is a pretty cool way to get him to make it to, like, this is a great, like, final turn card if R2 is going to play that secret mission. And then you can be hiding behind a wall. He's safe. At the end, oh, by the way, R2's going last, and then boom, he's going to jump over the wall, claim victory at the end of the game. Beautiful card. We've got Impromptu Emulation. And this one looks kind of like that early scene from episode 3. After R2-D2 performs an attack, he may perform a free move action. Free move action is always nice, especially since he's only speed 1. During R2-D2's activation, he gains the following weapon: 2 white blast spray suppressive units. So he gets, like, this could be a huge, and he's got offensive surge, right? So blast spray suppressive is not half bad. You're gonna put 2 suppression down. It's gonna hit every mini in the unit. So if a whole trooper unit's coming after you, he can just be like, boom, 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 boom. I love it. I love it. Now, it is a 2-pip, though, so you're still not guaranteed to go first. But if you really think your opponent's going to play a 3-pip, pretty cool way to go. And then we've got Smokescreen. This is from Empire Strikes Back. I love the art on these cards, by the way. Just awesome. So when R2-D2 issues an order to another friendly trooper unit, it may perform a speed 1 move. At the start of the activation phase, R2-D2 may perform the following, and he can place a smoke token. So, and we also know that smoke will stack with other smoke tokens if the other unit is also completely in here. So this one seems like it'd be really good if you're running smoke grenades. So if you're like, maybe, again, you can use, there's a version of R2 and 3PO that also work for the Republic. So if you wanted to be able to run, R2 with clones and smoke grenades, and you're doing that whole thing, then that's something maybe that you would consider doing, and then it'd be easy for R2 and 3PO to be completely within range of the smoke tokens. Not quite as easy as 2 whole clone units to be fully in range of 2 separate smoke units, but that's kind of cool. But I think the cool thing here is that this is giving somebody the ability to perform that speed 1 move when they're issued an order. I think that's the bigger part of this particular card because, hey, this is a 3-pip. A 3-pip that is only giving out 2 orders. Now, really, you're only getting 1 free move out of this. But it's a way to get a free move. Now, it is a speed 1 move, which means it's not going to trigger things like Relentless, because that's a speed X move. So certain things you're not going to get. Certain things you could get. You know, some things. So again, I would advise you to consult the rules reference on what, like on a speed X move versus a move action, because this is not a move action, it's a speed X move. Some things only trigger off of a move action. Some things trigger off of any move. So I think, like, for example, Rex, right? If you have R2 giving an order to Rex, Rex will be able to use target or tactical 1. He'll be able to get that aim token. But if you did it on Vader, well, you couldn't do it on Vader. So we'll say Luke, right? Luke wouldn't be able to move and then charge into somebody, you know, this is not a move action. So there's a difference between move action and a move, but still a move is good and it can trigger some things, which is pretty cool. Plus, if you need to get somebody to safety, you're doing a move during the order activations, so it's before your opponent. Even if your opponent's going to win with that 1 pip, you're still getting to move first. But again, it's any other friendly trooper unit, so you're not going to be able to move R2 himself, so it's only against somebody else. But it's good to save your commander. Again, it's good. I mean, for the points, he can be great support, even if you don't do secret mission. There's a whole lot you can do here. So I feel like there's a whole lot. By the way, there's also a terrain piece that comes in here. It's like they're selling it as a battlefield expansion. Like they're selling it as a terrain piece, but I don't need, like, the terrain piece is completely secondary as far as I'm concerned. And I also, from the looks of it, it looks like the escape pod up here and also the mound, like the dune, will be separate pieces. So it'd be kind of cool to maybe run the escape pod separate from the dune and just have it by itself. Like maybe it's standing upright. Like maybe it's a fully functional escape pod that isn't crashed. Right? So there's, like, I think a lot of different things you could potentially do with this. I think that's probably what I'll do. I'll try to maybe clean up the escape pod a little bit and have it standing upright. Maybe that's a cool idea, right? Maybe, especially for like a ship interior, right? If you're doing interior stuff, like they have the Imperial bunker coming out too. You could do a ship interior, the inside of the Tantive V4, something like that. I'd love to hear from you guys what your thoughts are. But yeah, that's R2 and 3PO. Pretty cool. Coming out, I think, in December, so we should be getting them pretty soon. I'm excited about that. More excited about, you know, the big tanks, which are the stuff that's not coming till February. But it's still pretty cool to be getting all this stuff now. All right, guys. Well, that's all I've got for you today. I want to thank you all so much for watching. I also want to thank my patrons on Patreon. Be sure to look for the new giveaways on Patreon. If you're interested in supporting the channel, be sure to check those links out in the description below. I want to thank you all so much for watching. And as always, have a great day.